Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and in this video, we are going to take this website that I've built, this nice looking World War II information site, and we're going to make it a little bit nicer. We're going to talk about how to make this navigation section here actually work properly and how to make it look just so nice. So first, let's talk about what we want it to do. What I want this navigation bar to do, or this set of navigation links to do, is whenever I click on it, I want it to take me to the corresponding section on the page. Right now it doesn't do that. It doesn't do anything, actually. So I have 5 sections on the page. I have overview, causes, major events, outcome, and legacy. I want to be able to go to those sections whenever I click on these links. Okay. The other thing I want to do is I want to make this not look like a gross list of links. I want to actually make it look like a nice horizontal navigation bar. And we're going to play around with making it a fixed navigation bar as well, so that whenever we scroll, it sticks to the top of the screen and it doesn't go away, so we can see it throughout the whole project. There are some reasons why you'd want to use that, some reasons why you wouldn't. We're going to talk about those today, and I'll show you the difference between fixed and relative. Okay, so let's minimize this and get it out of the way. Let's take a look at the code. So I have a bunch of code that I've given to you. You are free to just start from where I am right now in the video. All this code here, you should know what this does. The only difference that you might see when you're going through the code is for each section in my project, I use something called a section element. This is pretty much the same as using a div. It just section sounded like a better way, or it was a better fit for this project, so I use section. It's basically the same thing. It's a container. Just like a div is a division or a divider, this is a container just like that. So sections are totally fine to use. Other than that, pretty much everything here you've seen before or you've done before. We've got links to the Wikipedia pages for the specific images, and we have alt attributes for all of those. We have a paragraph underneath each image that I'm calling captions, or I've assigned a class called caption, which essentially just makes the text a little smaller and changes the color. And the rest is basically just headers and paragraph elements. So pretty easy. One thing that you might not notice here. So if we take a look, we have legacy and then this line. But if we look at the code here, there is no code to make a line. That's because it's in the CSS. So if we take a look at our section, where is it? Right here. Nope, that's not it. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. I'm not seeing it. It's not jumping out at me. Oh, right here, border bottom. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're saying for every H2, I want to put a 2-pixel solid border of this color on the bottom of that H2. So it creates this nice looking line across the whole page, because the H2 is a line level element, meaning it goes across the whole page. So if we just put a border bottom underneath each H2, it gives us this nice look. Okay, that's enough talking about what you already know. Let's talk about what you don't know. All right, let's go to our navigation buttons here. Okay, so in here, I have a new container called nav. This nav container is going to be where we control all of our navigation links, and they're organized inside of an unordered list. You can see there's the dots, and then inside the unordered list, we have list items, and inside the list items, we have some anchor elements. And those anchor elements have an href, but they're not actually going anywhere, okay? So how do we get these connected to these? Well, let's do legacy, because legacy is going to be able to show us the best what's going on. So let's say we want, when we click this button or this link, we want it to go all the way down to the bottom of the page to the legacy section. Okay, so the best way to do this is to identify the legacy section as the legacy section. So we can use something called an ID. The ID attribute will allow us to identify this as the legacy section. So legacy. So if we, inside the open tag for that section, we can say ID equals legacy. Then up here at the top, all we have to do is say our href for that is the legacy section or the legacy ID. The way we indicate an ID is with a hashtag. So hashtag legacy. Okay. Now, if I click that link, it will take me down here to this section. So I'm going to save, and I will open it back up in my browser here. Refresh just to be safe. Now when I click this, it should take me to the bottom of the page. And it does. It does immediately. Okay, perfect. So now I am riding high on the wind of my success. I'm going to finish the rest of these. So I'm going to make this the overview section. I'll give this the ID of causes. Sorry, more accurately, I'm not giving it the ID. I'm telling it to go to the section that's identified as that. So major events. I just saluted. You didn't see because my camera's off, but outcome. Okay, so now that these are tied to the specific IDs, I have to assign that ID to each of these sections. So section ID equals overview. Okay, this section is ID equals, forgot my quotes, causes. Okay, this section is major events. I just saluted. ID equals major events. Then we have outcome. ID equals outcome. And we already did legacy. Okay, perfect. Let's save this. And let's go back to our website. Refresh. And let's go to the top and let's try them. Overview works. Causes. Hey, that works. Major events. That works. Outcome, that works, and we already know legacy works. So we can now go to each section of our web page just by clicking these links. Fantastic. But we're not done because that looks gross. This bar doesn't look the way we want it to. So let's make it look nice. So in order to make something look nice, we need CSS. Okay. So first, I'm going to create a class called navbar. Let's do that down here. I'm going to say .navbar. And I'm going to assign this class to my navbar here. So class equals navbar. Okay, so now we can start writing some code, which will change this area right here. So the first thing I want is I'm going to set my top and my left positions to be 0, just in case we haven't done that already. And I'm going to set my width to be 100% because I want it to cover the entire width of the page. And let's change the background hyphen color. And I want kind of a dark blue. Let's see, what am I'm looking at my notes. 3B. Oh, there we go. Nice. Yeah, that's a nice color. So that's going to be my background color for my navbar. Okay. And let's see. Should we set, yeah, let's create a box shadow. So a box shadow. This is something we haven't really talked about yet. Basically, a box shadow will put a shadow underneath your whatever it is that you're attaching this code to. And there are some pretty complicated things that we need to play around with in order to make it work properly. But essentially what we have to do is give it a blur radius, a spread radius, and a color, offset, so horizontal and vertical offsets, blur radius, spread radius, and color. So our horizontal offset is 0, our vertical offset is 2 pixels, our blur radius is 5 pixels. Let's give it the let's just go straight to color because we don't really need a spread radius. So our color is going to be RGBA and 0, 0, 0. And so the last one is going to be its transparency, so 0.2. Okay. So it kind of worked. You can see probably down. Oh, I scrolled too far, or I clicked on something I shouldn't have. So it kind of, you can see there's a little bit of a shadow underneath the nav bar. Again, not super important that you do this, but you can if you want. It's not critically important. Let's change the Z index so that whenever we scroll, if we want to change this later to be, so that we can make this fixed, we want it to be on top of everything, so we don't, so the Z index will bring it forward for us, which is what we want. Okay. So that is the standard code for our nav bar. But notice that I'm still getting these links, excuse me, these links are still stacked on top of each other, they're the wrong color, there are all kinds of things we need to fix. So what we're going to do is we're going to modify this class by targeting the navbar unordered list. Now you're probably thinking, why not just target unordered list altogether? And we already have it up here. It's because if we were to do that, just target the unordered list, all the changes we're about to make will apply to every unordered list on our page, and we already have one, so we want to avoid that at all costs. We only want these to change. So we're doing navbar unordered list. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the display to flex. Okay, that's going to allow us to move these things around a little bit easier. Let's also justify content. Oh gosh, I pushed the wrong button. Sorry, justify content. Okay, and we're going to say center. Okay, and then we want list style type to be none. We want to get rid of that dot. So here's what we've just done. So now we've floated everything so it stacks side by side instead of on top of each other. We have put everything in the center of our screen, and we've gotten rid of the dots next to each link. Okay, looking better. Still not what we want though. So let's make some changes. First of all, let's get rid of the margin for all of our list items. This may not make sense why we're doing it right now, but I know we're going to need it later. I like resetting my margins as often as possible so that I have more control over them later. So let's go back. Okay, so my nav, all right, because I'm about to start making some changes to these list items. So nav bar, I want ULLIA, because we're identifying. Why did a break element go in there? So we're going into the unordered list so we're going inside the navbar class, going inside the unordered list, inside the list item, and then the anchor elements inside the list item in this navbar class. Okay, so what we want to do with these is change their display back to block, give them some padding, so we'll say 15 pixels by 20 pixels, make them a little bit wider than they are tall. Okay. Color is going to be white, so we want the text to be white instead of that gross blue. Let's say text decoration equals none to get rid of the underline. And then I think that's probably all we need for now. All right, let's take a look at what that looks like. Oh, so much better. So much better. So now they're nice and big. We get rid of the underline. Now they actually kind of look like buttons. The problem is when I'm moving my cursor over them, I kind of want them to change in some way to show me that they're a button, right? So how do we do that? Well, we can change something called the hover property. So let me get rid of that. All right, so the way we do that is by saying navbar ULLIA :hover. Okay, meaning whenever we hover over the anchor element, what do we want it to do? And all we want to do is change the, oh, class is over. Ignore that, please. That's in my video, not in real life. All right, so background color, and I want to change it to, let's do 9A 8C 98. Okay, so now watch what happens when I do this. So now when I hover over it, oh snap, now it looks like a button. Okay, perfect. Okay, now what else do I want to do? I think that's probably it. That does everything we want it to do. Let's go ahead and save. And let's take a look at what it looks like on our web page. Oh, so much better. And I can click outcome. It takes me all the way down to outcome. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. The only thing that we might want to change is to fix this to the top of our screen. I'm looking, we're at 16 minutes. We're plenty of time. So let's talk about how to fix this to the top. So if we were to take this nav bar here and we were to say position fixed, notice that it snaps it automatically to the top. Well, what we're going to need to do then is we're going to need to push this whole World War II section down. So this header, we're going to have to say padding top, I don't know, 100 pixels. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, looks pretty good. Now what we can do is let's save, take a look at our website, refresh. Now our nav bar is at the top, and when we scroll, ooh, it stays at the top. The only problem is whenever we click on one of these links, watch what happens. It goes to the right section, but it covers up this section up here. Okay, so there's a way we can fix that, which is a little bit tricky and it's a little sneaky, but I don't know. Let me explain. So if instead of setting this to be our ID, say this outcome is our ID, if instead we set the last thing in the section above it to be the ID, so let me do that. Let's cut and let's paste and save. Go back to the web page and refresh. Now, if I click outcome, now it snaps me right where I want. Even though it's technically going here, it's kind of putting it where it looks nice for me. It's not the cleanest fix, but it's a really easy fix that we can throw in right away. So, finish your web page or finish this web page. It's up to you whether or not you want to fix the bar to the top. I think it looks really nice. You just have to do a couple things to fix it. Matter of fact, I'm going to say, yeah, make it fixed to the top. How about that? Let's keep it fixed to the top because that looks really nice. Finish this project, get it functionally working, and then tell you what, record a video of you opening your page. Show me your code first, then open your page in your web browser and click the links and show me how your links work. Okay, perfect. All right, this has been a good time. I will see you next time. Thanks.